had a map for how our brains age? I mean, a really detailed blueprint showing every single change, every fork in the road at the most fundamental level possible. Well, guess what? Scientists have just created one, and what it's showing us could honestly change everything we think we know about getting older. Let's get into it. And look, this isn't just some abstract scientific question. Right now, over 57 million people around the world are living with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. That number is just expected to climb, so the race is on to understand the #1 risk factor for all of them, aging itself. For decades, we've seen the effects of aging, right? But the why has always been kind of this black box. What is actually going on inside ourselves? How does the simple passage of time physically change the machinery of our minds at the molecular level? That is the huge mystery we're about to unpack. So we know what happens, but the real mystery is how. What are the actual gears and levers inside ourselves that are driving this aging process? Well, scientists think they've found the master clock, and the secret, it seems, lies at the molecular level. You know, when scientists talk about molecular aging, they usually point to these four main things. You've got chronic inflammation, power failures in our little cellular batteries, the mitochondria, instability in our DNA itself, and then this really fascinating thing called epigenetic alterations. And while they're all super important, it's that last one, epigenetic alterations, that has scientists incredibly excited. They think these changes aren't just a symptom of aging, they might be the actual software that's running the whole aging program. So what is this hidden layer of control? Well, if you think of your DNA as the hardware of your body, the physical machine, then the epigenome is the software. It's the programming that tells your hardware what to do, when to do it, and how much. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine your DNA is this enormous cookbook with every single recipe your body could ever possibly need. Epigenetics are basically like the sticky notes and the highlighted passages. They don't change the recipes. The DNA stays the same, but they tell each cell which recipes to use, which ones to ignore, turning genes on or off. Okay, this slide really shows the incredible leap in technology we're talking about. The old way of studying the brain, it was like listening to an entire orchestra playing at once. Just a wall of sound where you can't pick out any single instrument. But this new single-cell approach, it's like giving a microphone to every single musician. All of a sudden, you can hear every note from every instrument with perfect, stunning clarity. And by using that incredible new microphone, scientists at the Salk Institute have built the very thing we've needed, a breakthrough atlas that maps these epigenetic changes one individual cell at a time across the entire aging brain. And I want to be clear, this isn't just a small step forward. This is, by far, the most detailed map of its kind ever created. It tracks everything, from which genes are active to how the DNA itself is folded up inside the nucleus of thousands upon thousands of cells. The scale of this project is it's staggering. To build this map, the researchers didn't just look at one little piece of the brain. No, they started by analyzing 8 different regions. This gave them a really comprehensive view across all these critical areas that control our memories, our emotions, even our basic movements. And within those 8 regions, they went even deeper. They managed to identify and analyze 36 different types of brain cells. This is so important because your brain isn't just neurons, right? It's this whole complex ecosystem of support cells. And understanding how they age is just as critical. The result was a data set of over 200,000 individual brain cells, each one analyzed separately. I mean, just try to imagine reading the unique software code for every single person in a pretty big city. That's the level of detail we're talking about here. It's just a mind-boggling amount of data. But then there's this number. This is the one that really gets me. Using a totally revolutionary technique, they mapped the activity of nearly 900,000 cells while keeping track of their exact location in the brain. It's like they created a GPS for gene activity. This spatial part, knowing not just what a cell is doing, but where it's doing it, that's what makes this atlas a true game changer. Okay, so you go and build the most detailed map of the aging brain in human history. What do you find? Well, the discoveries are already starting to rewrite the rulebook on how our brains age. Get this. One of the most dramatic findings is that as we get older, some of those epigenetic off switches start to fail. And this lets these weird sections of our DNA called jumping genes wake up.
These are ancient, disruptive bits of code that our bodies normally keep locked down tight. But with age, the locks start to break, and these things can start jumping around our genome, causing who knows what kind of chaos inside our cells.
And there's more. The atlas also showed that some of the biggest age-related changes happen in the brain's support cells, not even the neurons themselves. They also found a potential new biomarker for brain aging that was hidden in the 3D structure of our DNA. And maybe the wildest discovery of all, location is everything. The atlas proved the exact same type of cell can age in completely different ways, just depending on what neighborhood of the brain it lives in. It's like finding out twins age differently just because one lives in New York and the other in LA. It's wild.
And as Dr. Margarita Behrens, one of the lead researchers, puts it, the brain is just so deeply interconnected. Understanding how each specific cell type ages differently is absolutely crucial. That super detailed granular knowledge is what will finally open the door to new therapies for age-related diseases.
So this atlas, it's so much more than just a list of findings. It's a launchpad for future discoveries. It's basically a tool designed to accelerate brain research for scientists all over the globe. And honestly, this might be the most important part of the whole story. The team at Salk didn't just lock this treasure map away in a vault. They made the entire dataset public on Amazon Web Services. This gets rid of the huge computational costs and lets any researcher anywhere in the world access and build on this incredible work. And this just shows you how it changes the whole game. First, it's like a foundational Google Maps for the brain that anyone can use. Second, the data is so good, you can actually train AI models to predict how the brain will change over time. And third, it just creates this global collaboration, supercharging the pace of discovery way beyond what any single lab could ever do alone. In the words of the project lead, Dr. Joseph Ecker, we now have a framework. A comprehensive, detailed, and accessible guide for understanding exactly how aging reshapes our brains, molecule by molecule. This is the foundation that the next generation of neuroscience is going to be built on. Which, of course, leaves us with one final, absolutely tantalizing question. If we can now read the epigenetic blueprint of aging with this kind of incredible precision, could we one day learn not just to read it, but maybe to rewrite it? Could we actually reset our brain's epigenetic clock? With this atlas in our hands, that question doesn't really feel like science fiction anymore.